Hello people, my name is Seven, and this is the best effervescent and legendary farm in Borderlands 2. Using this method, you'll be able to get a bunch of legendary and effervescent weapons in a matter of minutes. If you don't know, Effervescent rarity is a new rarity added with the most recent DLC for Borderlands 2 called Commander Lilith and the Fight for Sanctuary, and it's supposedly much higher tier than legendary weapons. They have a very sparky look to them, and the light beam always shows a rainbow color on them. So for this method, we'll be killing a robot called Uranus, which we meet about halfway through the story. Also, I bet he had a pretty rough childhood. For some reason, Uranus has a very high chance of dropping legendary and effervescent weapons. From what I can tell, and please keep in mind that this is a very small sample size, he drops a legendary about 80% of the time, and an effervescent weapon about 30 to 40% of the time, which is a very high chance. And it doesn't involve having a random side quest and opening a bunch of boxes. I'm looking at you, loot midgets. The only downside is the amount of enemies that you have to get past and try not to get killed by. So we start in Helios Fallen, which is the area Uranus lives in. However, in order to get to him, you have to get past 3 major enemy areas. The first one is right in front of you as you come through the fast travel. You have to turn left, then right, and you'll find your first pocket of enemies. First off, there's a few plant enemies that you have to dodge. These aren't very hard and very easy to dodge, so you shouldn't have any problem with them. The problem is the soldier guys, the new Pandora guys here. These guys hit very hard, especially if you're on level with them, which is gonna happen if you're trying to farm this guy. So just try to run as fast as you can. This first area isn't very hard. This area here, the freight area, which is the second one, is by far the hardest one. In here you have a bunch of robots and a bunch of sharpshooter new Pandora guys just trying to melt you. If that wasn't bad enough, there's also an elevator that you need to ride, and the elevator is on the top floor and you need to call it in and then wait a few seconds to ride it back up. And this can be a little hard. Pro tip: don't stand under the elevator as it comes down. Don't do that. Just try and survive, kill a bunch of dudes, and just wait for that elevator to come down and not die. A lot of the robots are gonna be spawning right next to that elevator too, so be careful you don't ride the elevator with a bot, for example. If you made it this far speed running through the area, good job, you made it through the worst part, and there's only one final room with tons of enemies left, which, depending on where you're at in the story, will have a mini boss on it. If you completed the story and then completed a side quest that comes after that, you'll actually have a very strong mini boss in here, so just try to avoid him and run as fast as you can. You'll have a bunch of new Pandora guys shooting at you, as well as a bunch of robots, and a big turret will spawn in the middle of the room. So as always, just try to run as fast as you can and don't get stuck in that barrel like I did. From here, it's all smooth sailing and you made it past all 3 enemy rooms. In front of you should be a room with a claptrap on it, and in next to it there's a red chest that you can also open like I do. It's a red chest, so it can have some kind of wall drop legendary, but obviously it never has anything. But anyways, just turn right, then left, and you'll find yourself in the moonshot room. And you'll have here the vending machines that you can use for ammo like I do, for my bada boom, which is what I'm gonna be using to kill this guy as fast as I can. It's the weapon that I got the first time I killed this guy while I was playing the story for the first time, so yeah, that shows you how frequently this guy will drop legendary weapons. The fight itself is pretty easy. If you kill it fast enough, you can actually prevent any further minion bots from spawning, but obviously I'm not that good, so some bots are gonna spawn. You can take cover on these 2 side walls and never get hit, so it's pretty much the easiest kill ever. And there we go, and as you can see here, we got a bunch of drops, including a legendary. Yay! You can also farm Cassius, which is the other boss in this DLC. However, Cassius is much harder to get to and much harder to kill. So Uranus is pretty much your best bet to farming some of these effervescent and legendary weapons. So yeah, anyways, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and I guess I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Ready, set, go!